Hello, I am Kricha. In the course of International Health Development, today I'd like to do the presentation on the project that I have selected for my paper, Second Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Project of Nepal. In order to begin, I'd like to begin with the context of the project. Nepal's Second Rural Water Supply and Sanitation RWSS project was approved on June 1st, 2004 with the estimate cost of $41.5 million. The project was restructured twice. Firstly, it was restructured in May 6, 2008 with an estimated cost of $16.4 million and it closed on December 31, 2010. Again, it was restructured on December 16, 2010 with an estimated cost of $47.93 million and it closed on August 31, 2012. And there were several donors involved in the project. The fund board of the project are the international organizations, and they are ADB, Asian Development Bank, FINIDA, Finnish International Development Agency, DFID, UK Department for International Development, JICA, and the World Bank. So, there were three main goals of the project. Firstly, one of the goals of the project was to improve rural water supply and sanitation sector institutional performance and mainstream the fund board approach in the government system. The next goal of the project was to support communities to form inclusive local water supply and sanitation user groups that can plan, implement, and operate drinking water and sanitation infrastructure. The last goal of the project was to deliver sustainable health, hygiene, and productivity benefits to the rural households. How was project implemented? So, responsibility of the fund board in the implementation was overall oversight such as policy formulation, monitoring, and implementation of the project. Similarly, water supply and sanitation user committees planned, implemented, operated, and maintained water supply and sanitation facilities. There were 4 phases in the project: pre-development phase, development phase, implementation phase, and scheme follow-on phase. So, now I'd like to talk about assumptions in the economic development or economic growth and the health outcomes. So one of the major advantages of the project was supplying water and sanitation facilities to the rural areas of the country. The people were benefited individually and the development was decentralized. This led to benefiting in the health of the population and contributed in the economic growth. The project also created a lot of job opportunities for people. Similarly, women participated in the project in a very effective manner. Also, those women, when they participated, they learned about the water supply and sanitation. And as the country has a lot of women who works for households and raise their children, so it impacted in the families, and that's how the health of the families started getting better. Now, the structure of the intervention. This project is a horizontal project and not a vertical or a diagonal project. It is a horizontal project because it was funded by international donors, as stated earlier. There was involvement of higher authority to local people. The aims focused on all citizens of the country. It was a very massive project. Also, it was a need-based project and not an asset-based project, because as it was the basic need of people is the water supply and sanitation. So there was the necessity of restructuring twice for the project. It benefited more than 100,000 of people. Also, after the project was closed, the objective still continued for the future project of the rural water supply and sanitation. It is also a complex system project because it took more than a decade to complete. Also, there was complex issues of politics and mainstreaming the fund board approach during the implementation of the project. Now, I'd like to talk about the monitoring and evaluation of the project. So, reporting of the project status of key performance indicators to the World Bank supervision team was done. Inclusion of video and intermediate outcome indicators in monitoring and evaluation design that measure the objective of supporting communities to form inclusive local water supply and sanitation groups. Objective of delivering sustainable productivity was not captured. In the same way, objective of mainstreaming the fund board approach in the government system was also not captured. Now, was the project a sustainable one? Yes, the project is sustainable in many ways. So some of them are remarkable increase in the use of improved toilets and hand washing practice, decrease in the prevalence of diarrheal diseases, hygiene awareness campaign established more than 72,000 latrines, and that resulted in decrease in open defecation. There was significant increase in the solid waste disposal, availability of water, technical and financial sustainability of the schemes. Though considering many factors, the project is a sustainable one, still it could have been more sustainable. So how to make the project more sustainable? There should be stronger policy making. There should be least consumption of non-renewable resources, as the non-renewable resources harms the environment. The conservation of water resources should be focused along with the supplying of water. There should be separation of O&M fund for each of the aspects of the project. The reusing or selling of byproducts from the project should be done, and it will help in the economic growth of the project too. There should be use of scientific technologies. The priority should be the participation of women and the minorities of the communities and the country. The changes to improve the health outcomes of the beneficiaries of the project. So water quality should be excellent in order to improve the health outcome of the beneficiaries of the project, because water quality, if the water quality is bad, they might suffer from waterborne diseases. Also, there should be addition of purifying chemicals in the water time and again in order to be sure about that the water is pure. Awareness programs should be organized about water, sanitation and health among the people, so that people will be aware about poor sanitation and low quality water supply and the waterborne diseases. Now I'd like to talk about the outcomes of the project. So the positive intended outcomes of the project are community participation and women's development, reduction in death rates, creation of water supply infrastructure and improved access. Same way, negative intended outcomes of the project are poor solid waste management practice, no payment of salary or honorarium to the women who participated in the project. Some of the unintended outcomes of the project are, the positive ones are prevent waterborne and water-related diseases, increase in life expectancy rate, increase in agricultural production, and the negative ones are contaminated water, waterborne and water-related diseases, misuse of water resources, and corruption in the project. So these are the references for the presentation, and now I'd like to conclude my presentation saying by save water and do a good focus on the better sanitation, and thank you so much.